future of India will be shaped in its classrooms. Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon through which we can change the world. Swami Vivekananda said, education is a manifestation of perfection which already exists in man. If a country has to be progressive, we need to have a very good education system. A good education system will bring informed citizenry, a progressive country, and it will act like a foundation for a great nation building. And nurturing young minds, igniting young minds should be the goal of any education policy. To this end, after independence, we have started various education policies. The first ever education policy in India was framed in 1968, and the next education policy, the second education policy, in 1986. Though there were some reforms and amendments in the second education policy in 1992, by and large, from last 34 years, we are waiting for a new education policy. The dream realized yesterday and cabinet approved new education policy for the nation, new education policy 2020. And this particular education policy is the outcome of laborious process, particularly wide debate, discussion, and also controversies. Initially, TSR Subramanian Committee was appointed to bring out and to recommend reforms in our education system. And later on, last year, it is Kasturirangan Committee whose recommendations now, by and large, were accepted. In fact, when Kasturirangan Committee recommendations were out, they were open for public debate and discussion. And finally, yesterday, Cabinet approved the new education policy. Why new education policy? What are the objectives of the new education policy? And why this new education policy have come in 2020? First of all, we should understand this in three dimensions. First is the changing needs of the times, the changing demands of the market. Particularly in 1970s and 80s, we have much focus on humanities and arts, and now it is more about technical education, technology based education. New courses are coming up: biotechnology, hotel management, information technology, technical side, and diversified courses are coming up to meet the job markets. The second thing is, in all the domains, in all the spheres of human life, information technology entered. Even in the education sector, digital learning concepts entered. Even in that, we are lagging. So to address this, we have an agenda of promoting digital learning also. And the other thing, the most important thing is 21st century skills. What do you mean by 21st century skills? See, all the new skills which are required for the job market. And with the advent of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and software technology, the humans need to develop critical thinking, analytical skills, creativity skills, decision making, and without missing human touch and ethics in that. So, new skills, 21st century skills, including information technology skills, communication skills, analytical skills, critical analysis, all these things are required. It is not just rote learning or mugging up. We need a skill where children will properly understand the concepts of the subject. To this end, our new educational policy have been evolved and trying to achieve. Let's hope that it will do the best. Coming to the highlights of the new education policy. The first highlight, though very symbolic but very important in nature, the changing of nomenclature of the ministry. Ministry of Human Resource Development from now will be called as Education Ministry. In fact, till 1985, it is called Education Ministry, but the name was changed by Rajiv Gandhi government Again now, to reflect more focus on learning, research, they have again changed the name into Ministry of Education. This is the first change, though symbolic but significant. And next thing is, in the new education policy, the transformation is phenomenal. It is not just incremental change, but a transformative and complete change in our education patterns. This is the aim. This is the most important thing. And the next thing in the present education system is school education. Coming to school education, preschool to secondary level, universalization of education. We have till now 10 plus 2, first class to 10th class plus 11th class, 12th class concept. But now it is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Foundational education, primary, middle and secondary. So 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, complete 15 years course. In this, the government is planning to have universalization. That means 100% gross enrollment ratio at all levels by 2030 in the school education. 100% gross enrollment ratio. This is first aim the new education policy is promoting. The second thing is open schooling system. 2 crores of children we need to bring into mainstream education. Those who are vulnerable, those who are not in the mainstream, those who are marginalized, even these children, we need to provide education for them. And the new system will have 12 years of schooling plus 3 years of Anganwadi and preschooling. Till date, we have not focused on beginning 3 years of child, that is at the age of 3 to the age of 6. We have never focused much on this age. In fact, 85% of the child's brain will start maturing and functioning at this age to understand new things, to understand new languages, to understand new concepts. So, preschool or pre-primary education, third level to 6th level, that is at the age of 3 to at the age of 6, we are trying to improve that. And there is a concept called foundational education from the age of 3 to 8, emphasis on foundational literacy and numeracy. According to recent SR reports, annual survey on education reports, the children who are studying second class could not read the numbers or alphabets. The children who are studying 5th class cannot read second class textbooks. So, till the age of 8th, we need to focus more on numeracy and basic literacy. So, reading, numbers, counting and language skills, we need to improve in that. So, there is a special mission called National Mission on Numeracy Literacy. National Mission for Foundational Values in Numeracy and Literacy is also being proposed to be established in this new education system. And apart from that, extracurricular and occasional streams in the schools. From 6th class onwards, every child should learn occasional education also. By the time he completes his schooling, at least he will be proficient in one skill completely. So that is one of the important developments. Generally, these type of skill developments we can see in Korea, in China, in some countries. Along with the schooling, they will develop skill development in South Korea particularly. So that is the greatest advantage. In South Korea, more than 90% of the children, they have very good skills by the time they complete their basic schooling. So we can compare with international standards also. And one of the important and I can say significant changes in this was at least up to 5th class, and if possible up to 8th class, teaching can be preferred in mother tongue, in the regional language or local language, so that children can understand the concept properly. This is not something which can be enforced on the students. No student can be forced to take up particular language, but teaching should be encouraged in the regional language or mother tongue up to 5th class, and preferably up to 8th class. This was a statement that was given in the education policy, and don't misunderstand this, that there should be compulsory, the regional language teaching or the mother tongue teaching is compulsory, the medium should be in the mother tongue, don't get confused with that. And with respect to teacher training, the new education policy also emphasized on teacher training. New and comprehensive national curriculum framework for teacher education NCFTE 2021 will be formulated with the support of NCERT by consulting NCERT, and by 2030 the minimum degree qualification for teaching will be 4-year integrated B.Ed course. So, B.Ed course, 4-year integrated B.Ed course. So, those who wanted to become teachers, by 2030 they will make a comprehensive plan to cover a education course, B.Ed course with 4 years integrated approach. So, this we need to think of, but if you want to choose a profession as a teacher, we need to have at least minimum 4 years of training and experience and learning on that. That is really important. Coming to higher education reforms, gross enrollment ratio in higher education is right now 28%, and the target by 2035 is 50%. In the new education policy, now the gross enrollment ratio in higher education is 28%, the target is 50%. And if you wish to increase the target, minimum 3.5 crores per annum seats should be increased, and the higher education should be more flexible, more broad based, and it should be multidisciplinary. For example, the students who enter into higher education will be given an exit option or entry option at any stage. Even this is very important, entry exit options. For example, if there is a boy who have joined in BA course, after first year of his BA, he wanted to discontinue that and he wanted to do some other course. Even at that time he can do that, and even if he wanted to take a break, he can take a break. That is very important, because we are seeing degree dropouts and other people, those who have discontinued their education, and better to have flexible education policy. That is very important. And from now on, undergraduate education can be for 3 years or 4 years with multiple entry and exit options, and with appropriate certificate also. For example, if you opt for BA or graduation for 4 years, if you opt out after first year, you will get a certificate, after second year you will get a diploma, after third year you will get a bachelor's degree, after fourth year if you go out you will get a very good permission to do directly PhD also. So, this is very important. If you complete 4 years of your integrated degree, you can directly enter into PhD also. And here MPhil curriculum, MPhil degree was taken out, it was withdrawn by the government. There is no more MPhils from now on, no more MPhils from now on. And one more interesting point, academic bank of credits to be established. What do you mean by academic bank of credits? So, this academic bank of credits will be maintained in a digital way. For example, if a man opted for a degree with 16 subjects, he has completed only 4 subjects, his credits will be mentioned in that particular bank, and whenever he opts to study other degree, if the same subjects are repetitive, he can study the additional subjects, and his credits in the previous academics will be credited in the new subjects, new graduation. He need not repetitively study the same thing again. So, this makes the people and the students to get encouragement to continue their graduation even after a break, or to continue their graduation, sometimes even they dislike the previous graduation and enter into the new graduation, or at least they can even get a job choice if at all they go into the job market for the credits they have accrued by showing that certificates and data bank. So, there are many options available. And next important thing, government is also establishing through this education policy MERU, MERU, a model multidisciplinary educational and research university similar to IITs and IIMs, particularly with international standards. It is like model university in research and also in education. It's really important. India needs model universities in research, a multidisciplinary educational and research universities. Not only that, government also through this education policy aim to establish National Research Foundation to improve and foster strong research culture and building research capacity across higher education. This is also very important. In India, we are lagging in research. More investment and more institutions are needed. So, government is starting National Research Foundation to improve and foster research culture in the higher education institutions. And we have multiple regulatory bodies, sometimes even overlapping regulatory bodies, UGC and AICTE. They both are being merged and a new regulatory body is coming up called Higher Education Commission of India. And this Higher Education Commission of India, HECI, will have four verticals. We will have four vertical organizations. One will regulate, the other will be standards setting, third will be funding, and fourth will be accreditation. Higher Education Commission of India will have four vertical setups. One will act like a regulatory body, second will act like a standards setting body for education, quality setting body, third is funding agency or financing agency, fourth is accreditation agency. So both are very important. And in the new education policy, university affiliation system will be phased out by 2030. By next 10 years, next 10 to 15 years, they are going to phase out this affiliation system. And the other remarkable changes in the education policy, the government is aiming to increase the spending on education in the GDP to 6%. 6%. That's first thing. And in this policy, multilingualism means more languages and more appreciation to wider learning is really encouraged. National Institute for Pali, Prakrit and Persian is being established, going to be established. National Institute for Translation and Interpretation, and particularly for people who are disadvantaged in the regionally, for example, remote areas like Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Northeast, and remote groups, vulnerable groups, special educational zones will be created for them. To support them, special educational zones will be created. And the new education policy also is promoting gender inclusive fund to promote participation of women and girls in the education. The new policy also is aiming to promote digital way of learning, and a new forum is being created called National Education Technology Forum. This forum will act like a platform for free exchange of ideas, particularly using digital technology in all its shapes to the fullest potential for promoting education. And in this policy, a 360-degree holistic progress of the child will be taken care of. And the progress card is not just about marks in the subjects, it will be complete personality of the child. 360-degree holistic progress cards will be promoted, and National Mission on Foundational Literacy and Numeracy will be created, and curriculum to integrate scientific temper, no rigid separation of arts and sciences, and higher education institutions, professional institutions, they might be standalone institutions till date. From next level onwards, they need to be multidisciplinary, and they cannot teach only one subject or one technology. They need to be multidisciplinary from now on. And extracurricular activities, occasional activities will be promoted, equally promoted. Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalayas now will go up to 12th standard, grade 12. This is also important. And board exams will be continued for 10th class and 12th class. And from now on, the final exams will be for 3rd class, 5th class and 8th class. And here in the examination, they won't test mugging up or by-hearting or coaching areas. They will test children's capability, potential, their analytical, critical skills and basic concepts. The examinations are not meant for by-hearting skills from now on. All education institutions should maintain similar standards in audit and disclosure, and education institutions should be for not for profit, and whatever surplus they get, they should reinvest in the education sector only. Whatever surplus they get, they are expected to reinvest in the education sector only. This is very important. And students will be allowed to take board exams up to 2 occasions in a particular year, in an academic year. One main examination, and student can opt for further examination also for improvement in that year. So there are 2 occasions in which the student can write a board exam, unlike now where student is forced to write one exam at a single time. That is difficult. Also, board exams will be easier as they will set a trend for capacity and competency building of the student and make the student to learn special things rather than forced to mug up before the exam. And more importantly, students will go to the school without bag for 10 days in an academic year, and this is something like they are exposed to vocation of their choice. It is like informal internship. In the entire scheme, more focus was given to ECCE concept, early childhood care and education, from 3 years to 8 years, because children's mindset will be tuned at this point of time. So ECCE was more focused. Early childhood care and education is very much focused. And coming to the next level in the education, there is a concept in the examination. There is a new acronym that was mentioned, PARAKH, PARAKH, Performance Assessment, Renew and Analysis of Knowledge for Holistic Development. This is also very important. The target of the exam is PARAKH, PARAKH, Performance Assessment, Review and Analysis of Knowledge for Holistic Development. This is very important. And coming to foreign universities, now foreign universities can open their campuses in India and Indian universities can open their campuses abroad. Indian universities can open their campuses abroad. So till now, affiliation process is very tough for the colleges under the universities, and now there is no more affiliation concept. They are going to phase out this, and there are only 3 types of universities. 1. Research focused universities. 2. Teaching focused universities. 3. Autonomous universities. Research focused, teaching focused and autonomous. And the most fantastic thing is Sanskrit is taught in every stage if the student opts it. So in every stage, school education and higher education, Sanskrit should be an option. Better to evolve in the culture, and people should understand Sanskrit also, because Indian culture lies in various Sanskrit verses. So this is one of the welcoming steps. And no language will be imposed on any state. Even on any state government, languages will not be imposed. So many are debating whether the formulas given by the new education policy is imposition on the states. No language is imposed. This is very important. And for the first time, single regulator for all higher education institutions. So these are all the important highlights of the education policy which was approved by the cabinet yesterday. These are only highlights. We need to have much more analysis on that. Thank you.